Listen closely. Every day, success passes 1,000 people by. It does not stop for the one who complains loudest. It does not bow to the one who wants it most. It does not even answer the one who prays without changing. It stops for one kind of person only, the person whose mind is gripped by a definite purpose and whose actions move in a straight line toward it. You have felt that reality without being able to name it. You have watched people with less talent, less intelligence, even less morality advance while you remain on the same level, and you have asked in secret, what do they have that I don't? The answer is not luck. The answer is not connections. The answer is that somewhere along the way, they chose a purpose and then allowed that purpose to rule them. You, up to now, have allowed everything but purpose to sit on the throne of your mind. This is not an insult. It is an X-ray. Look at how you have been living. You wake up with a vague list of things you should do and a vague dread of doing them. You limp through the morning, returning calls, numbing your mind with whatever's on, moving from one obligation to the next like a piece on someone else's board. At night you feel the heaviness you do not discuss with anyone, the feeling that you are meant for more than this blur of days. You are. But life does not grant that more to the man or woman who merely senses it. It grants it to the one who directs that restless energy into a clear, focused, stubbornly held purpose, and then proves that purpose with daily conduct. You have been taught to chase feelings. Feel confident, then act. Feel inspired, then act. Feel ready, then act. That order has kept you small. Successful people reverse it. They think with purpose first, act with purpose second, and allow feelings to catch up later. They do not ask, how do I feel about this work? They ask, does this work serve my purpose? If it does, they do it whether they feel brave, tired, bored, or afraid. You have given your feelings authority over your behavior. They have ruled long enough. They were never meant to. Purpose is the only ruler that leads you upward. Right now, your mind is like a powerful engine without a map. It burns fuel every day, attention, time, effort. But because it has no definite direction, you end each day with miles on the odometer and nothing to show on the road. That is why you are exhausted without being fulfilled. That is why you are busy without being advanced. Motion without purpose is the most expensive habit on earth. It burns years for nothing. And it is not fate that is doing this to you. It is your refusal, up to this moment, to answer the simplest, hardest question you will ever face. What specifically is my life aiming at? Not what would be nice. Not what would impress people. Not what would shut my critics up. What are you here to build, master, and contribute? What kind of man or woman must you become to do that? Until you answer that in clear language, you will stay on the treadmill, sweating and staying in place. You can change jobs, cities, partners, even countries. If you do not change the fact that you are living without a chief aim, you will unpack the same life in a different location. You may protest, I have many interests. I don't want to limit myself. That sounds sophisticated. In reality, it is often an excuse to avoid committing to the one thing that would expose your lack of discipline. The most powerful people you know are not scattered across 100 half-hearted pursuits. They are known for something. Their mind is organized around a central objective. They are not less than you because they chose. They are more than they were because they chose. Success yields to them because the universe can finally tell what they are asking for. You may say, but I don't know my purpose. The truth is harsher and simpler. You have not made finding it your priority. You have given more concentration to your entertainment than to your reason for existing. You have spent more hours consuming the lives of others than designing your own. You are not confused because purpose is hiding from you. You are confused because your mind has never been forced to sit in the silence long enough to answer the questions that matter. You escape them with noise. Begin here. If you stripped away the need to impress anyone, if you could not post your life anywhere, if no one ever applauded, what work would still matter to you? What problem could you not walk past without wanting to fix it? What idea keeps returning to you year after year, no matter how often you push it away? What kind of life would make you feel that the pain, risk, and discipline were worth it? That is where your purpose is hiding, under layers of fear and pretense. When you touch that purpose, you will feel two things at once: excitement and resistance. The excitement is your spirit recognizing its assignment. The resistance is your ego realizing what will be required of it. Purpose is not a comfort blanket. It is a summons. It will put demands on your laziness, your indecision, your love of convenience. It will require that you stop treating your time as cheap. It will force you to confront the people and the habits that keep you spinning in place. If you are expecting purpose to make your life easier, you have mistaken the path. Purpose does not make life easy. It makes life meaningful. And a meaningful life, while harder on the body, is kinder to the soul. Thinking with purpose means you begin to measure your thoughts against your aim. You no longer allow your mind to wander wherever it pleases. When it drifts into jealousy, you ask, how does this help my purpose? When it loops through old failures, you ask, what lesson here serves my purpose? And what self-punishment must I drop? When fear shows up, painting worst-case scenarios, you ask, does this fear protect my purpose or paralyze it? You stop letting your inner world be a playground for every undisciplined emotion. You turn it into a workshop where every thought either builds or is dismissed. Acting with purpose means you no longer treat your days as random containers for whatever happens. You assign each day a job. You decide before the world decides for you what must move forward. You stop asking, what do I have to do today? And start asking, what will I advance today that serves my chief aim? That single shift will change how you view your work, your energy, and your so-called free time. There is no free time. There is only time used in service of your purpose, or used in service of your escape from it. Look back at your last week. How many hours were spent strengthening the skills, relationships, and systems that your purpose requires? How many were spent sedating yourself from the guilt of not doing that? You know the answer. You felt it when you woke up tired after a night of numbing yourself. You felt it when the images passed by, people living with clarity, and you told yourself stories about their advantage to keep from admitting you'd been refusing to live with your own. That refusal can end today, not by emotion, but by decision. You must understand something that will offend your comfort. Your life up to now has been perfectly designed for the results you have. Your thinking patterns, your reactions, your routines, your circle, your use of spare time, together, they form a system. That system, like any machine, produces exactly what it was set up to produce. If you want different results, you must redesign the system. You cannot keep feeding the machine the same inputs and pray for a miracle. The law that governs success does not respond to begging. It responds to alignment. Alignment begins when you declare a chief aim and mean it. Not a sentence you write today and forget tomorrow, but a statement you are willing to live under. I will become this kind of man or woman. I will master this field. I will solve this problem. I will live at this standard of character. Then you treat that statement as the highest authority in your life under God. Feelings report to it. Decisions report to it. Relationships report to it. The calendar reports to it. If something does not serve it, it is optional at best and an enemy at worst. At first, this will feel unnatural. You are used to making choices based on comfort, habit, and convenience. Purpose demands that you begin making choices based on direction. The old you will scream. It will call you rigid, extreme, obsessed. It will tell you to lighten up and live a little as if wasting your potential were the definition of living. You must see this voice for what it is. The death rattle of a self that has ruled you for too long. Do not negotiate with it. Do not explain yourself to it. Replace it. You replace it by acting differently, consistently, in small ways at first. You set your alarm and actually get up when it rings, not because getting up early is magic, but because you said you would and you refuse to break your word to yourself anymore. You sit down to work for a set block of time and refuse to distract or wander, not because the work is glamorous, but because your purpose demands focused labor and you are training your mind to obey. You choose one habit that has obviously weakened you: overeating, mindless distraction, staying up for no reason, and you cut it down, not out of self-loathing, but out of respect for the life you are building. Do not wait until you feel ready to do these things. Readiness does not precede purpose. Readiness grows out of purposeful action. The first time you honor your purpose over your feelings, you will not feel powerful. You will feel awkward and tired. The 10th time, you will feel a little stronger. Eventually, you will feel something you may never have felt before: self-respect. Not the cheap kind that comes from external praise, but the deep kind that comes from knowing you are living your own instructions. That self-respect is the soil in which all other success grows. As this process continues, something subtle but profound will begin to happen. People around you will sense a difference. You may not be richer yet. You may not be famous, but you will be steadier. You will waste fewer words. You will be less easily pulled into nonsense. You will become, without trying to impress anyone, a person whose presence has weight. That weight does not come from volume or drama. It comes from the simple fact that you are no longer wandering internally. Your mind and your actions are moving in the same direction. Life recognizes that alignment. Opportunities that once passed by without sticking will begin to connect with you, not because some cosmic favoritism suddenly woke up, but because you have become the type of person who can see, seize, and sustain them. Success has always yielded to that kind of person. It always will. The question is whether you will become that person on purpose or continue hoping to stumble into what others have built deliberately. If you are still listening, it means something in you is tired of stumbling. Good. Hold on to that tiredness. It is the final gift of your old life. Let it push you into a new one, driven not by mood, not by accident, not by pressure from others, but by a purpose you chose with open eyes. From here forward, every principle we uncover, every demand we place, will be aimed at one thing: turning you into the man or woman to whom success must eventually bow, because you will have aligned your thoughts, your habits, and your character with a definite, unshakable purpose and refused to move. Now that we have stripped away the illusion that success is random, you must face the next harsh reality. It is not enough to have a burning purpose for a few minutes while listening to words like these. You must turn that purpose into a system that governs your days when the emotion fades. A man can swear allegiance to a king in a moment of excitement, But the proof of loyalty is seen in the way he behaves when no one is watching, when the work is dull, when the battle is not glorious but necessary. Your purpose is that king. Your life, up to now, has not been arranged as a loyal subject. It has been arranged as a wandering peasant visiting whichever village entertains him. That must end. Thinking with purpose is the first command. You have begun to see that your mind must be taught to ask, does this thought serve my aim? Instead of indulging every worry and fantasy. Acting with purpose is the second command. You must now shape your days so clearly that your calendar becomes a visible picture of what you say your life is about. If someone were to follow you for a week without hearing a single word from your mouth, would they be able to guess your purpose from your behavior? If the answer is no, your purpose is still a theory, not a law in your life. Start with your mornings. The first hour of your day is the throne of your mind. Whoever sits there gives orders to the rest of the day. Up to now, you have allowed chaos to sit there. You have placed your distractions on the throne, other people's crises on the throne, mindless habits on the throne. Then you wonder why you feel scattered, weak, and reactive. That first hour must be reclaimed by your purpose. Before you let a single voice from outside enter your life, let your own dominant aim speak. Sit with it. Write it. Read it. Ask, what are the 3 moves I will make today that advance this mission? Do not start with 10 or 20 or some heroic list meant only to impress your ego. Start with 3 specific actions that matter. Once you have those, they become non-negotiable. They are not items you try to get done if nothing interrupts. They are the spine of the day. If interruptions come, and they will, these 3 are what you fight to protect. A person of purpose is not someone whose life is free of distraction. It is someone who refuses to allow distraction to swallow the essential. Every day that you complete those purposeful actions, you are driving a stake deeper into the ground of your new identity. Every day that you break that pattern without a genuine emergency, you are casting a vote for your old one. Next, examine how you respond to the impulse to delay. Procrastination is not a personality trait. It is a decision to let fear, boredom, or discomfort outrank your purpose. When you say, I'll do it later, understand what you are really saying is, right now, my aim is not important enough to endure minor discomfort. You cannot build a major life on that attitude. The cure is brutal and simple. Shorten the space between intention and action. When you decide something must be done, move toward it immediately, even if only with a small step. Open the document. Make the call. Write the first sentence. Purposeful action weakens the muscle of delay. Repeated delay weakens the muscle of purpose. You must also become honest about where your time is really going. People say they don't have time for their purpose. Yet the same people have hours for gossip, binge watching, and trivial errands that could be compressed or delegated. You do not lack time. You lack priorities that are enforced. Sit down and track one full day in 15-minute blocks. Write what you actually do, not what you intended to do. At the end of that day, compare the record to your supposed purpose. You will see very quickly whether you are living as an architect of your life or as a servant of habit. When you see the gaps, and you will, do not drown yourself in guilt. Guilt is just another form of ego, obsessed with how bad you are. Purpose is not interested in how bad you feel. It is interested in whether you will change your structure. Take that messy day and ask, where can I carve out 1 hour that is sacred to my aim? Perhaps it is early, before the world wakes. Perhaps it is late. Perhaps it is in the middle of the day. protected with firm boundaries. Choose it. Guard it. During that hour, you touch nothing that is not aligned with your mission. No messages. No half work and half distraction. Pure, concentrated effort. You will be shocked at what a single protected hour can produce when you give it your full mind. Most of what people call work is a moment of effort padded with long stretches of distraction. A few lines written, then a pause, a drift, a loss of momentum. Make a small move, then reward themselves as if they had climbed a mountain. The law of success does not fall for this performance. It measures output, not posture. 1 hour of deep, undivided action in service of a clear purpose will, over weeks and months, outperform entire workdays of scattered busyness. Now turn to your word. A purposeful life cannot be built on broken promises, especially the promises you make to yourself. Every time you say, I will do this, and then do not, you train your own mind to treat your statements as noise. Then, when you try to speak life-changing decisions, your subconscious treats them as noise as well. Why should it believe you now, when you have trained it not to? Your first assignment is to reduce the number of promises you make. Speak less. Commit less, but when you do commit, move heaven and earth to follow through. This applies to small things. If you tell yourself you will wake at a certain time, wake. If you tell a friend you will call, call. If you schedule a work block, honor it the way you would honor a meeting with someone powerful. You are training yourself to respect your own word. That respect is the foundation of internal power. Many people look confident on the outside and feel hollow inside because at bottom they know they cannot rely on themselves. You will not be one of them. You will become the kind of person whose yes means something, starting with yourself. But there will be failures. You will oversleep sometimes. You will break a commitment. You will waste a day. The old you will try to use these moments as evidence that nothing ever changes. This is where purposeful thinking must override the old script. When you fail, you do not write a story, you diagnose a pattern. Why did I break this? Where was the decision point? What will I adjust so that this trap is harder to fall into next time? Then you act on that adjustment immediately. You do not sit in shame. Shame keeps you self-absorbed. Purpose pulls you back to work. In addition to time and word, examine your environment. You are trying to live with purpose inside a system you designed for comfort. Your desk, your bedroom, your circle of people, all of them transmit instructions to your subconscious. Clutter whispers, nothing is clear. Endless entertainment options whisper, escape is always available. Friends who mock ambition or encourage laziness whisper, don't take yourself so seriously. You cannot ignore those whispers and expect them to have no effect. Begin cleaning ruthlessly. Clear physical clutter from your primary work and rest areas. You are telling your mind, here we focus, here we restore. Remove obvious sources of distraction from the spaces where you intend to work. If distraction is a constant enemy, banish it while you labor. Be deliberate about what you allow into your days. Set aside what steals your attention and serves no real purpose. You are not being extreme. You are fortifying the ground where your purpose must grow. Then look at your relationships. You do not need to discard everyone who is not as driven as you, but you must limit the influence of those whose presence constantly pulls you back into small thinking, endless complaining, and purposeless living. You already know who they are. When you leave them, you feel discouraged, dulled, or distracted. Reduce the frequency of those interactions. Increase time around those who challenge you, who are building something, who think in long horizons instead of short escapes. If you do not know such people personally, find them in books, lectures, and other sources. Borrow their mindset until you find peers who live it. A person who thinks and acts with purpose is not rigid, but they are consistent. They adapt methods when they discover better ones, but they do not adapt their aim every week. The drifting mind keeps changing the target. Today this business, tomorrow another, this path, then that path. It never stays long enough in one direction to see compounding. Purpose plants its flag and says, "This is my hill. I am willing to spend years here." Then it fights intelligently, adjusting tactics while keeping the hill in sight. That is how weak beginnings become mighty endings. You will be tempted, often, to abandon your path when progress seems slow. This is where your old addiction to speed, to instant gratification, will scream at you. It's not working. It's taking too long. Other people are further ahead. Remember this: speed is not the measure of success. Direction is. A man walking slowly toward his purpose is more successful than a man running fast in circles. The law of success is not impressed by frantic motion. It respects persistent motion in the right direction. One way to survive these slow seasons is to track progress honestly. Keep a simple record of what you did each day that served your purpose. Not how you felt, not what you planned, what you did. Over weeks, you will see patterns. You will notice that periods of discouragement often come after days of half effort. You will notice that your confidence rises when your actions are consistent, even if external results are not yet impressive. This knowledge will keep you from blaming fate for what your own inconsistency created. It will also protect you from despair when you are doing the right things and time simply has not had space to pay you yet. Another tool of purposeful action is the ability to say no without apology. Every yes carries a hidden no. When you say yes to every invitation, every project, every request, you are saying no to the depth your purpose requires. You cannot be everywhere and do everything. The person of purpose chooses a few arenas and plays deeply in them. They allow others to think they are missing out on dozens of lesser things. In reality, they are avoiding the greatest loss of all, the loss of their own mission. At first, saying no will feel selfish. You have trained yourself to keep everyone happy while quietly betraying your own aim. But over time, as your purpose bears fruit, even those who were offended will benefit from your clarity. They will gain a stronger, wiser, more stable version of you, not the scattered, resentful, overextended version you offered before. Purpose is not just a gift to you, it is a gift to everyone your life touches. A man who knows what he is doing with himself is an asset to the world. A man who is confused and conflicted, endlessly pleasing and endlessly frustrated, cannot truly help anyone. Let us address a final barrier: the fear of being wrong about your purpose. Many delay choosing an aim because they are terrified of committing to the wrong thing. They want a guarantee from life that if they put their whole heart into this direction, it will be rewarded exactly as they imagine. No such guarantee exists. But here is what does exist: the guarantee that drifting will never produce greatness, and the guarantee that purposeful living will grow you into someone who can adjust, pivot, and refine without collapsing. Think of your purpose like a mountain range in the distance. You may not know the exact path up the slope from here. You may not even see the summit clearly, but you know the general direction. You point your life that way and start walking. As you move, the landscape will reveal itself. You will discover better routes. You will refine your destination. You may even find that there is a peak slightly to the left that suits your calling better. But you will only see these details by moving. Standing still, demanding full clarity before you take the first step, will keep the entire range a blur. The hidden advantage of purposeful action is that even wrong turns become useful. When you commit fully to an aim, you learn quickly. You gain experience, skill, and self-knowledge at a rate the drifter can never match. If you discover, after honest effort, that you must adjust your course, you do so as a stronger, more disciplined person. You are not starting over. You are advancing in a new direction with all the power you built along the way. The law of success is not legalistic about the exact form your purpose takes. It is loyal to the quality of the person you become in pursuit of it. So here is where we stand. You have seen that success is not an accident, but a response. It responds to a mind seized by a definite aim and a life arranged in obedience to that aim. From this point forward, your excuses are useless. You know why you have been stuck. You know what must change. You may not know every detail, but you know enough to begin. And beginning with full seriousness is everything. Tonight, write your chief aim in a single, simple sentence. Tomorrow morning, read it before the day begins. Decide your 3 moves for the day that serve that aim. Protect the time to do them. Keep your word to yourself. Clean one corner of your environment to reflect the order you are bringing to your life. Question one old habit that has clearly been your enemy. Take one step in the opposite direction. These are not small things. These are revolutions disguised as routine. Purpose is not found in grand speeches. It is built in quiet mornings and honest nights, in the way you handle the next hour, the next choice, the next temptation to drift. Success has always bowed to those who master those moments. It is watching you now. It is listening to your thoughts and observing your actions. It is waiting to see whether you will continue living as you have, or whether you will finally prove with the structure of your days that you intend to be the kind of person to whom it must, sooner or later, yield. There is a deeper layer to this law that most never touch. They change a few habits. They tidy their calendars. They get up earlier for a while. Then, when life does not immediately applaud, they slide back and they say, I tried. No, they did not. They tried to decorate the surface of their life without renovating the foundation. Success does not yield to surface adjustments. It yields to the man or woman who changes at the level of identity until you become inside the kind of person your purpose requires. You will keep finding ways to sabotage your progress. You will call it bad luck. In truth, it will be self-protection from a future you do not yet believe you deserve. This is the next battlefield, the way you see yourself when you are alone. You can speak like a conqueror in public and still see yourself as a failure in the secret theater of your mind. That hidden image always wins. If you see yourself as someone who never follows through, you will unconsciously create interruptions, distractions, and emergencies at the exact moments when follow-through is required. If you see yourself as the one who always messes things up, you will rush, cut corners, and make choices that confirm your story. The mind loves to be right, even when being right destroys you. To think with purpose, you must challenge this inner picture directly. Start by putting your current identity into words without euphemisms. Write the sentences that live under your skin. I am undisciplined. I am inconsistent. I am lazy. I am not like those people who succeed. Something is wrong with me. Do not hide from them. You have been living by them anyway. Drag them into the light where you can destroy them. When you see those sentences on paper, you will understand why your actions keep snapping back to a lower level. You have been obeying an internal script written by fear, not by purpose. Now ask, if I continue to repeat and believe these sentences, what future do they guarantee? There is no mystery. They guarantee smallness, hesitation, half-built projects, bitterness, and envy of those who refuse to keep such a script. Is that sufficient? If it is, keep it. If it is not, burn it, not literally, but mentally. Refuse to let it stand as law. Replace it with new statements that reflect who you must become to honor your purpose. I am a person who finishes what I start. I am a person who keeps moving when it is boring. I am a person whose word means something. I am a student of success, not a victim of circumstances. At first, these new sentences will feel like lies. Good. That discomfort is evidence that your old identity is being challenged. Do not wait for the new statements to feel true before you act on them. You reverse the order. You act in line with the new identity while it still feels foreign. You work when you would have delayed. You speak up where you would have stayed silent. You stay with a task 10 minutes longer than your old self would have tolerated. Every such act is a vote for the new identity. The feeling of truth will catch up later when the evidence is too heavy for your subconscious to ignore. Do not make the mistake of thinking that affirmations alone will change you. Empty words thrown on top of undisciplined behavior are worse than useless. They deepen your self-disgust. Thought must be welded to deed. When you say, I am a person who follows through, you must immediately follow through on something, even something small, to give that sentence teeth. When you say, I am a disciplined man, you must discipline yourself in that next decision. Set the distractions aside. Finish the page. Get up at the alarm. Refuse the easy escape. Otherwise, your mind will laugh at your declarations and file them under lies. I tell myself when I'm inspired. Your internal language is only one part of the inner structure. Your expectations are another. Many people secretly expect to lose. In every opportunity, they scan for what will go wrong. In every sign of progress, they brace for collapse. They dress this mindset in the respectable clothes of realism, but its root is fear. It is easier to expect failure and be right than to expect success and risk the pain of disappointment. So they live in a constant posture of emotional flinching, never giving themselves fully to anything. Life honors that posture by sending them proof that they were wise to fear. You must decide that such cowardice no longer belongs in you. Expecting success does not mean ignoring obstacles. It means assuming that you will find a way through them. It means looking at a challenge and saying, this will be difficult, but I am capable of learning what I need to learn. It means assuming that your purpose is possible and acting accordingly. The law of success does not respond to a mind that reluctantly shuffles forward, waiting to be crushed. It responds to a mind that moves with conviction. If I stay with this long enough, if I keep thinking and acting with purpose, something must give in my favor. This is where faith enters. Not blind faith that abandons effort, but muscular faith that reinforces it. Faith that the laws governing cause and effect do not sleep. Faith that your daily obedience to purpose is noticed, recorded, and compounded in ways you cannot yet see. Faith that you are not put here to drift until you die. Without this, you will not have the strength to act with purpose when the evidence is thin. There will be stretches where nothing visible confirms your choice. In those stretches, only two things will keep you from sinking: the memory of why you chose your purpose in the first place, and the conviction that the law cannot be mocked forever, you must also take authority over your imagination. Up to now, it has likely been your worst enemy. You replay humiliations, forecast disasters, compare yourself to others who seem far ahead. You lie awake watching mental movies of what you fear instead of what you are building. You call this overthinking, but in truth it is undirected imagining. Thinking, in the sense that produces success, is ordered, intentional, guided by questions and answers. What you have been doing is letting your imagination run wild in the dark. From this point on, when your mind begins to run down a path of fear, you do not follow it passively. You interrupt it. You ask, is this scenario helping me prepare, or is it just paralyzing me? If it is paralyzing, you stop it. You deliberately shift to imagining yourself acting well. You see yourself walking into the difficult meeting and speaking clearly. You see yourself executing the plan you keep postponing. You see yourself facing the setback without collapsing, adjusting, and moving again. Then, crucially, you bring that image into action as soon as possible, even in a small way. Visualization without execution is just a prettier form of worry. Your emotional life must be brought into harmony with your purpose as well. This does not mean suppressing feelings. It means putting them in their proper place. Emotions are signals, not masters. They tell you how your current perception and expectations sit with your nervous system. They are real, but they are not directives carved in stone. You may feel unmotivated. That does not mean the work is unimportant. You may feel afraid. That does not mean danger is as great as it appears. You may feel inadequate. That does not mean you are incapable of learning. When emotion rises, acknowledge it, then ask two questions. What is this feeling telling me? And does obeying it serve my purpose? If the answer to the second is no, you let the feeling be there while you act according to purpose anyway. This is one of the highest forms of self-mastery. Doing what you have decided is right while your body is begging you to do what is easy. The first time you do this consciously, you will feel as if you are walking through thick resistance. Over time, that resistance thins. Your emotions begin to align with your new behavior. Fear shrinks. Pride softens. Gratitude grows. Do not overlook gratitude as a tool of purpose. The undisciplined mind fixates on what is missing, what is hard, what is unfair. That fixation breeds bitterness, and bitterness kills motion. A purposeful mind notices what is missing, but puts primary attention on what is available. The hours you do have, the capacities you do possess, the opportunities that do stand in front of you, however small. Gratitude is not sentimental. It is strategic. It shifts your focus from paralysis to possibility. It tells your subconscious, we are not helpless. We have resources. We will use them. The law of success works through what you use, not what you complain about. As you strengthen this inner structure, identity, language, expectation, imagination, emotion, you will notice something remarkable. Your external habits become easier to maintain. Waking on time is less of a battle when you see yourself as a disciplined person. Refusing distraction is simpler when you truly believe your purpose matters. Finishing projects is more natural when you have rehearsed yourself as a finisher instead of as someone who always quits. You are no longer dragging a reluctant self into alien behavior. You are simply acting out who you now accept yourself to be. Still, there will be days when all of this feels fragile. Days when the old identity shouts louder. Days when you slip into patterns you thought you had left behind. This is where many people abandon the process. They interpret a stumble as a sign that nothing has changed. That is a lie. The fact that you even notice the slip now, that it bothers you, that you are listening to material like this and judging yourself against a higher standard is proof that much has already changed. The old you did not grieve over wasted days. The old you call them normal. In those moments, your task is simple. Shorten the gap between falling and rising. The drifter can lose weeks to one mistake. A person of purpose learns to lose minutes. You catch yourself not with cruelty, but with clarity. This action did not match who I am becoming. You ask what triggered it. You adjust the environment, the schedule, or the expectation that made the failure easy. Then you re-engage with your purpose immediately. You do not wait until Monday. You do not wait until next month. Delay is the favorite weapon of your old life. Refuse to arm it. As your inner and outer lives come into alignment, your relationship to time itself will change. You will stop saying, "I have time," in that lazy, wasteful tone. You will understand that time is both finite and elastic. Finite because your years are limited. Elastic because the quality of your focus can stretch what you accomplish inside those years beyond what you currently believe is possible. 1 hour of pure, purposeful work in a day that used to contain nothing but scattered effort is your first proof of this. Multiply that hour by days, by months, by years, and you will be unrecognizable to yourself. Do not underestimate how rare this level of alignment is. Most people never bring their thoughts, feelings, habits, and environment into harmony with a single compelling aim. They live as a collection of fragments. For them, success will always appear as something that happens to other people. They will use words like lucky, chosen, privileged to avoid facing the truth that those other people simply organized their lives under a different law. You are being invited out of that crowd, not to look down on it, but to stop waiting in it for a miracle that will never come. As you ascend into this new way of living, something else will begin to emerge. A sense of calm. Not laziness, not apathy, but calm. The frantic edge that once defined your efforts will soften. You will stop grabbing at every opportunity in desperation. You will start selecting opportunities that fit your purpose. You will stop needing to prove yourself with every action. You will begin to express yourself through your action. Outer noise will increase because people are drawn to anyone who seems to know where they are going. Inner noise will decrease because you no longer argue with yourself about whether you are on the right path. This calm is not a sign that your purpose has weakened. It is a sign that it has sunk deeper. In the early stages, purpose is loud because it is fighting to be heard over the chaos. In later stages, it becomes a quiet, steady pressure in the background of everything you do. You do not have to think about it every second. It has become the atmosphere you breathe. Your mind returns to it automatically when it wanders. Your choices filter through it without effort. Your days begin to carry a rhythm that reassures you even when external results are delayed. I may not be where I want to be yet, but I am undeniably on the way. From here, the law of success begins to deal with you differently. You are no longer treated as a child who must be shielded from every consequence. You are treated as an apprentice, being prepared for greater trust. The challenges that come will not be random. They will be targeted at any remaining weakness in your character. Impatience, vanity, avoidance of conflict, greed, the need for praise. Each trial will be an exam. Can you hold your purpose steady under this weight? Most people see these exams as proof that they're unlucky. A person of purpose sees them as curriculum. This is why it is dangerous to envy anyone's success if you do not know the tests they pass to sustain it. You see their current harvest. You did not see the seasons where they had to hold their aim when no one believed in it, when they walked away from easier paths, when they refused to betray their values for quick gain, when they endured slow years without turning bitter. You will have your own versions of these tests. Do not ask to be excused from them. Ask for the strength to pass them. The law of success is not only about reaching a destination, it is about becoming someone who will not collapse once you arrive. So we come to a critical junction. You have heard that success yields to the person who thinks and acts with purpose. You have seen that this means more than writing goals and grinding harder. It means rebuilding your mind, your identity, your environment, your use of time, your response to emotion. It means accepting challenges as part of the training, not as signs of rejection. It means living by design instead of drift. The final step is not complicated, but it is rare. You must decide that this way of living is not a phase, not a season, not an experiment. It is who you are now. Purpose is not something you do until you make it. Purpose is the only way you intend to live, in small things and large, in public and private, in abundance and in lack. When you cross that line, something remarkable happens. Success, which once seemed distant and unpredictable, begins to feel less like a miracle and more like a delayed appointment. You may not know the exact hour it will arrive, but you know it cannot fail to meet a person who is relentlessly, intelligently, and faithfully moving toward it. From that state, your next evolution begins, shifting from someone who strives to someone who embodies. From someone who chases success to someone in whom success finds a natural home. Because you have become ordered, reliable, purposeful enough to carry it without spilling it. That is where we now turn. How purpose, once internalized, transforms not only your results, but your very presence in the world. There comes a point when you must stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be purposeful and start seeing yourself as a person who lives by purpose as a matter of identity. That shift is not loud, but it is decisive. Until now, you have been testing this path. You have been experimenting with discipline, adjusting your days, confronting your inner story. From this moment, you must stop treating this as an experiment and start treating it as the only way you will live from here on. When that decision is made deeply, not just in words, but in the way you arrange your life, something subtle but powerful changes. You stop chasing success and start embodying the very qualities that success is attracted to. People will feel it before you do. They will notice that your reactions are slower, more measured. They will notice that your moods no longer swing as violently with circumstances. They will notice that you are harder to provoke, harder to distract, harder to discourage. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming anchored. Your purpose has moved from your mouth into your bones. You no longer need to announce your plans every week because your daily conduct is saying constantly, "This is who I am. This is what I do." At this stage, you must guard against two opposite dangers. The first is arrogance. As your consistency increases and results begin to accumulate, there will be a temptation to look down on those who are still drifting. Do not forget, you were one of them, and not long ago. You did not climb here alone. You were helped by ideas, by examples, by truths you did not invent. Pride will whisper, "You are special." Purpose answers, "I am responsible." You are not better than others. You are simply more obedient to the laws you've now seen. Stay humble enough to keep learning and grateful enough to keep moving. The second danger is fatigue of the soul. You have pushed, adjusted, corrected, endured stretches where nothing seemed to change. You will be tempted, especially when early successes arrive, to loosen the standard that brought you here. Now that things are working, I can relax a little. The law is merciless toward that attitude. Relaxation becomes neglect. Neglect becomes erosion. Erosion becomes collapse. The purpose-driven life is not about relentless strain, but it is about steady vigilance. You do not need to live in tension. You do need to live awake. As your purpose takes deeper root, your definition of success will refine. In the beginning, you may have chased numbers, titles, or symbols. There is nothing wrong with outward achievement, but you will learn that the greatest victory is internal. Knowing you are using yourself fully, you will discover that a day in which you lived aligned with your purpose, even if the external world did not applaud, feels more successful than a day of random winds that pulled you away from your mission. This is maturity, shifting from chasing impressions to building substance. You will also recognize more clearly that your purpose is not only about you. In pursuing it, you have been forced to grow, to become more disciplined, more courageous, more honest. Those qualities are now assets to others. You will find people gravitating toward you for guidance, not because you are perfect, but because you are consistent. They see that you have faced the same temptations to procrastinate, to complain, to quit, and you have chosen differently. Your life becomes proof that change is possible. That proof is a form of service more powerful than any speech. Do not hoard what you have learned. Share principles, not bragging. Share processes, not just results. When someone asks how you changed, tell them the truth. That nothing shifted until you stopped living by accident and began living by a chief aim that ordered your thoughts and actions. Tell them that discipline was not natural to you. It was built by small, repeated choices. Tell them that you still feel fear and doubt, but you no longer let those feelings vote on your behavior. In doing so, you strengthen your own commitment. Teaching the law to others is one of the surest ways to keep it alive in yourself. Understand that as your influence grows, your tests will grow with it. You will be tempted to compromise your purpose for comfort, for approval, for money, for speed. Opportunities will appear that seem profitable but would bend your values. People will offer you shortcuts that abandon the process that made you strong. In those moments, remember, success that requires you to betray your purpose is not success. It is a trap. The law you have obeyed up to now will not protect you if you begin to mock it. Hold your standard. Say no to what conflicts with your aim, even if it costs you in the short term. The harvest of that integrity is longevity. You will begin to notice that your relationship with mistakes has changed. Before, every error felt like a verdict against your worth. Now, mistakes become information. They show you where your understanding was incomplete, where your system was weak, where your emotions still overruled your purpose. You correct and continue. This resilience is one of the clearest signs that you have truly adopted a purpose-driven mind. The drifter is shattered by setbacks because he has nothing stable inside. The purposeful person bends, learns, and moves on because his identity is not built on never failing, but on never quitting. In the quiet hours, you will feel something else rising, respect for yourself. Not the shallow pride of thinking you are better than others, but the deep satisfaction of knowing you are finally living in line with what you know to be true. You are no longer at war with your own conscience. You are no longer pretending not to know why your life looks the way it does. You know the law, you are applying it, and your reality is gradually bending in response. That inner peace is the real prize. The money, recognition, or position that may come are byproducts. They can be lost. The character you have built in this process cannot be taken from you. One day, you will look back on the version of yourself who lived without purpose, who drifted from distraction to distraction, who blamed circumstances and waited for a break, and you will feel two things. First, compassion. You will remember how heavy those days felt, how confusing, how frustrating. Second, gratitude. You will be thankful that you did not stay there, that at some point you heard words like these, and instead of treating them as entertainment, you treated them as instruction. That you decided to think and act with purpose when it would have been easy to slide back into sleep. Do not wait for that future day to feel proud. Begin now. Every time you sit down to plan your day around your chief aim, every time you choose work over escape, every time you push through resistance and do what you said you would do, tell yourself quietly, this is me becoming the person success cannot ignore. Not as vanity, but as recognition of the law at work. Success has never been about luck alone. It has always, in every century and every field, yielded to the ones who live this way. Now it is your turn. You have seen the pattern. Drifting leads to waste. Purpose leads to power. You have seen the steps. Define a chief aim, train your mind to serve it, arrange your days around it, rebuild your inner picture, endure the slow seasons, refuse to betray your values when rewards appear. From this moment forward, let this be your silent contract with yourself. I will no longer live as if my days are accidents. I will no longer insult my own potential by draping it in excuses. I will think with purpose. I will act with purpose. I will hold my purpose when it is praised and when it is mocked, when it is easy and when it is brutal. I will let the results come in their season, but I will not negotiate with the law that governs them. Success yields to the person who thinks and acts with purpose. Not occasionally, not when it is convenient. Always. Let others keep gambling on chance. You will build on law. And in time, as surely as night follows day, life will have to do what it has always done for people like you. Step aside, make room, and bear witness as purpose, patiently obeyed, becomes destiny fulfilled.